1,000-layer potato Mexican croissant. Crispy, buttery, chorizo layers, tender on the inside, packed with bold chorizo flavor. It's like a potato croissant of your dreams. Packed with chorizo in every single layer. I mean, come on. Come here. Okay, you've heard of the 1,000-layer potato, the potato stack, the potato pave. Now, I saw something that took it to a whole other level, and I'm going over the potato croissant today with a Mexican twist. It is crispy beyond belief, okay? And I want to show you that it's so much easier than doing the pave. It's easier than all those TikTok trends. This is the YouTube trend, potato stack. For today's video, I put the dogs in the special Mickey D Slippy Slips because look, potatoes, man, like potatoes are important. It's an ingredient you can use in many things and it's so versatile. And I'm using the Idaho russet potato. This is the one that you want to use for this and pretty much anything involving French fries. This has the most starch. Now this was my very first viral TikTok, the 1,000-layer potato stack. It was also my first viral YouTube. It's sitting over like million-something views on the long-form videos. But anyways, this is something that's kind of come back to life recently in a really fun way. Here's one of the best spice blends in the world, chorizo. Back in South Texas, chorizo con papas is a must-have staple. So my thought process for this is chorizo with the 1,000-layer potato croissant only makes sense. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. This reminds me of something I used to have at, which they call the flea market. They had these things called Spiro papas, and they would spice it with the chorizo spice as well. So I think putting this in between all the layers of the potato is gonna make it that much better. You could just do regular clarified butter, but I think this is like bringing it up a notch. Chorizo con papas. It makes so much sense. So what I'm doing here is creating what we call like a compound butter, just tossing the chorizo spice. Okay, what I'm doing here is creating a compound butter. Toss in the chorizo spice with the butter, bring it up, melt it, and there you go, combine. You can put it into the fridge, save it for later if you want. And this is what's gonna go brush between every layer of the potato. You can even save it in a little jar for later. Cook your eggs in it, put it on some toast, whatever. Put it in a jar. Save it in your fridge. Okay, what you will need: potato, peeler, mandolin. That's pretty much it. Now, I like to put a paper down my cutting board in case you're wondering for the peelings. This is something I learned from my old chef, Nate. Makes your life so much easier when you're done with the job. You don't have to like scrub your cutting board. You don't need to take a bench scraper to it. All you would really do is just take the paper, roll it up, and it never happened. Boom. So that just makes your life way easier. A little tip in case you wanted to do it. So here's the deal here. Mandolin, I'm sorry, you can't get away from this, but this is the tool you're gonna need for this job. You don't need a fancy one. You can do like a good $20 one, but anything that's gonna give you even thin slices that are all consistent. I like to get the first few out. Here we go. And I love skins on my French fries, but when it comes to these, you're gonna wanna take the skins off just so you have like those more distinctive layers on this guy. So if you take the skins off, you have more distinctive layers, and it's gonna also just be like nice, creamy all the way through that fry. So at this part, I just do this just to make my life easier. I'll go ahead and stack all the potatoes pretty much evenly, just so I'm kind of, you know, getting them ready for the job. Okay, so here's one stack. Usually what I would do is cut off into little squares, and that would be my potato stacks. But this is a very good no waste method. So I like to stack them accordingly like this, and you will see other people on the internet say like to put them in water to remove the starch. I don't think that makes any sense. You really do want as much starch as possible so you can keep those layers together and they don't fall apart. And also starch is good, especially when frying. It just provides more texture. So what I like to do is I like to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is what I found last night when I was making these, is 10 was like the magic number for these guys. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of building all my little stacks here, kind of like I'm dealing cards, you know? So this is what you gotta do. You gotta be patient with this project. It's something that could be a real pain, but it's definitely worth it. Like, it's something that impresses a lot of chefs when you make them one of these potato pavés. And this one, it's no exception because it's gonna have a really cool look to it. Okay, now each layer needs to get this chorizo butter. So now for this task, all we need is our potatoes, a little brush of some sort, chorizo butter or regular butter, no judgment, and then some sort of muffin tin or popover tin like this guy. I like this one because it's nice and deep. And then one by one, we're gonna shingle. So I'll put one potato down, a little brushy brush of my chorizo butter. Then the next one goes down, kind of offset, just a touch as you can see. And then brushy brush of more chorizo butter. And then I'm just gonna keep repeating this process all the way through. Okay, this is all there really is to it. We're just going to stack it accordingly, shingle it, and boom, we've got our potatoes ready to go. So you're gonna wanna glove up for this if you're dealing with the spicy chorizo, or at least wash your hands thoroughly after. Here's the method to the madness. You just start off in one end, rolling it tightly, kind of like you're rolling a joint, you know? And then you just go on, and then you just keep rolling it. Every time you go, you're gonna have to pick up one of the shingles from your cutting board until we're left with something like that. This is a nice thick piece. And now you can see why we're gonna cut these in half, in case you wanna see it there. It almost looks like a beautiful rose, especially with this chorizo spice, kind of fitting for the upcoming holiday, hint, hint. There we go, we've got all our stacks, like such. Then just you want to slice through them right in half, right in the center. And then the flat side should be your bottom, in my opinion, but to each his own. Then from here on out, I'm gonna take my little muffin tin, and I'm gonna go ahead and brush it with more of my chorizo spice in each little muffin tin. And then each little potato gets placed in there. Cover with foil, and these are gonna go directly into the oven. Been at about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, covered with foil. And then for this, I found that 45 minutes is the magic number, but it really depends on how thick you make them, how thick your slices are. So what we're gonna do is the little knife test or toothpick test, whatever you do when you make like a baked potato. Okay, just pull them out of the oven, 45 minutes. And what I do is I just kind of remove the foil, take a little knife, little pricky prick inside. You can use a toothpick, and as you can see, it's like going in and out. Very easy, no give. This gets covered up and then put into the fridge to go ahead and chill overnight. Now, what is specifically going on here? Why do we need to chill it overnight? And why do we need to cook it before frying? So what's happening is the potatoes are cooked low and slow, and they're gelatinizing all those layers together. The starches gelatinize, and it absorbs more moisture. So if I add this chorizo flavoring, it's going to be absorbed because that's what it has to do to gelatinize. So it's just gonna be an ultra packed flavor bomb. That's what's gonna be happening. And so just let it chill overnight. So I found that this is like something from a childhood favorite of mine. You guys grew up with scallop potatoes. Imagine scallop potatoes just had a baby with a French fry. This is exactly that. And when I add in another childhood favorite of mine, chorizo, it's just a whole other level. Like, even these potatoes right now, as they're raw, they smell so good with that chorizo butter. You know what I'm talking about, right, lady? All right, so check this out, everybody. This is the next day. They've been sitting overnight, and this is what we're left with right here. Wow, these look really pretty. Almost like little roses. I would recommend just like heating it up a little bit just so that excess cool butter will melt and you can easily remove them. I'm just using some chopsticks and look at that. That is stunning. Beautiful. It's like almost like a croissant, as if I titled the video accordingly. And this red color makes it look like a little red rose, perfect for Valentine's Day. Just give her a rose instead. As you can see, they hold up quite well, so you could even just do this ahead of time, put them in the fridge, and have a good amount for a party. One of the most important things that people forget about deep frying or don't even know is aging the oil. Now, I go farther into depth on this. This is something that I was taught by Chef Chris Young. He's a mentor of mine. He also helped write Modernist Cuisine. It's a very popular book. But beyond the point, aging your oil is going to make it that much better. So make sure to do that process if you like. Not necessary, but in my opinion, it makes a much better product. So now on to the deep frying portion here. I try to keep my oil not too hot, because the hotter it is, the more it's gonna pretty much beat the heck out of that potato, and then it's gonna fall apart. We don't really want that. So I aim for about 330 to 350, nothing higher than that. And I've got a peanut oil here. You can use beef tallow, and then just drop them into your oil and cook them beautifully until GBD. Try not to agitate them too much so they don't fall apart. But this is basically all there is to frying these guys off. It's low, it's slow, it's not too hard of a heat. It's not 375, it's not 400. We don't want these beautiful layers that we put our hard work into to fall apart. At the end of the day, what we're gonna do is just make sure that they're all intact. And trust me, it's worth the wait. Be patient with your potatoes. I just go ahead and pull them out when they're GBD, pretty much like this right here. And I put them onto a sheet tray that has a rack. And then just season it with some salt all around, or whatever seasoning you want, really. It's basically like French fries, you know what I mean? But like this, you can hold them hot in the oven, keep them crispy, and they should really hold their form. I mean, just look at how beautiful, like all these crispy layers on this 1,000-layer potato croissant. You want to Mexicanize it? Put some cotija, queso fresco, or some crema with a little bit of the salsa matcha from one of my past videos. Now, if you want to learn how to make a solid Mexican chili oil, salsa matcha, click over here.